Hello and welcome back once again to the ESL Pro League finals. It's time once again to start breaking down what is coming up next. It's going to be the Danish sides clashing in the upper bracket. It's going to be Dignitas and TSM. And I mean, first thing I need to ask you guys is, was Dignitas an expected presence in this upper bracket? I was talking to the Envy guys before when the game was going on, and NBK was like, this should be a 2-0 Navi. Would you guys be in the same kind of boat?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of that is based out of that they didn't qualify for Katowice. But I mean, they were a pretty new team. They're really like high-skilled players, but they were really disappointing that they didn't qualify. A lot of people actually thought that, and I think a lot of opinions are based around that.
And I mean, on the other side of things, on the TSM side, it was a roller coaster of emotions, the Virtus Pro game. Really nice one to start off the day. After besting Virtus Pro, TSM must be in a good place at this point, Halvor.
They should be in a really good place. They've obviously overcome an object they weren't able to do last week, and doing that with the stand-in obviously has to boost the confidence, not only of Cadian, who's standing in for Device, but the 4 remaining members as well. Knowing that they can actually put up a fight versus one of the best teams in the world when you're not 100%.
Let's see what one of those players thinks right now on the stage with Dupree and Sean.
Thank you so much, Machine. Dupree, good sir, how are you?
I'm still really good, so that's good.
That's what we like to hear. Now, you know, obviously that epic matchup against Virtus Pro is behind you. You've had some time since then. What's been going through you and the guys' minds?
Well, we just prepared for Dignitas. Like, we know pretty much how they play. Like, it's a Danish team, and they know how we play. So it's gonna be like, that's how domestic lineups, like matches is. We just talked out to relax, got something to eat. We haven't really like played that much warm up. We just like talked more about stuff and like get like, what do you say? Like not the nerves, but like get our like mental state like just chillaxed. You know, just getting ready for the game.
Now, going up that first game against, you know, the always impressive Virtus Pro and, you know, with, let's say, you know, the new player on board, Cadian, you know, does that settle the nerves? Do you feel like, oh, hang on a second, things have changed a little bit, or you're still in the same position?
No, I still think it's in the same position. Now, we know that we played good against Virtus Pro, and we just have to keep going against Dignitas because they're really good guys as well. So it's going to be a tough game, but I think if we just play our game, we should be able to handle it.
Now, of course, you mentioned very quickly that you guys obviously Danish, know each other. How much does that play into this now? Is it really knowing them, or is it just, hey, it's just another opponent, we just play the same logic?
I think everyone like has thoughts about the other players. Like, this guy likes to play really defensive. This guy likes to peek a lot. This guy, he gets nervous in some situations. He makes a lot of mistakes. You know, I think everyone has like a few preferences how to handle the opponents. And we know in general how they like to run their strategies and stuff like that. So and the same with them. Like, I think they have watched more games with us than we have with them, since we're at like, without being an ass, but like being at the more like prestigious tournaments, whereas like where they have not reached that yet. So I think we just need to. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit random, but I think we will come out on top.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Please join your team. Thank you so much, mate. Good luck. Now, of course, if we're lucky, I can lure up him to come over here and stand and talk with me for a second. Good sir, how are you?
I'm just fine, just fine.
Now, Dupree mentioned it right there. Obviously, 2 Danish teams going up against each other. How much is that playing for you and the guys?
I mean, we met them last weekend at Copenhagen Games and lost twice. So, like, we would like to beat them this time. We came close in last game, so we think that we have a chance of actually winning now.
And talk us through the rest of your day. How have you been going so far? Obviously, you're now at this juncture. What's your feeling?
We feel great. Like, we've been chilling after our Navi game and get some rest and just relaxing and get something to eat. So we feel prepared for this game, and I think we have a good shot.
Well, we wish you the absolute best of luck. Join your team, and of course, thank you very much. Now, of course, the guys are going to get ready here, and that means that we're going to pass it over to the main man, Machine.
I'm the main man, apparently. I love that, Sean. Thanks once again for the interview. And so Dupree, the comment he made that I think I made all of our eyebrows raise was he was quite clear, and he's very straight to the point, just saying, we've been at better tournaments, we've posted better results, and as analysts, I'm sure, you know, you look at paper and you say this should be TSM's game, but let's not forget that those results, and it's going to feel like a bit of a broken record every time TSM's playing, assuming we see them play again. We're going to keep going, yeah, but it's not TSM. It's TSM playing Cadian. And I think we do need to address that point again, of course, new viewers and everything, but let's try and highlight a little bit more about how different TSM must operate now without KD, and I'll start with you.
I think they have gone to a more loose style. You know, we saw them play their terrorist side, and they went for more picking styles, which I'm not used to seeing them play at all. I'm used to seeing them run a strat and executed it very, very well with like very precise flashes, smokes, and like doing it like from the start of the round. They have a very, very specific purpose when they do a round. So I think it's a good idea that they're actually doing it, and they're having a kind of a casual outlook on the tournament and not putting too much pressure on themselves. And that's when you play that kind of style the best. Well, like no expectations, just go in and do your thing and try to do your best.
Is there a degree of randomness in their play then at the moment?
I would say so, yeah. But it comes down to a lot more communication, and especially with Cadian not being used to how TSM communicate. Obviously, they're all Danish, they can talk to each other, but some bits might be like told differently in other teams that maybe Cadian split in the past, so you know, stuff like that. Maybe call-outs are different as well. So you know, a lot of stuff can be confusing, but I think it's a good idea to play the style they're doing instead of running with exactly what they're used to, but a far less effective one.
Right. It's basically doing the best of making the best out of a bad situation is a nice summary. And Halvor, what are your thoughts on this battle of the Danes?
Oh, it should be a good one. If Copenhagen Games was any indication, especially the last match they played in the consolidation finals there, then Dignitas definitely have the opportunity to bring it to TSM when they played. Well, it was the best of one in that consolidation finals, but Dignitas actually won the T side of Inferno, and we saw it versus Navi as well. They're an excellent team on Inferno. So, by the looks of it, they actually managed to sort out the CT sides as well, at least today. So that could be a really good sign for them if Inferno ends up being one of the maps. That's yet to be seen, but I definitely think Dignitas have a better shot now, even though we just saw TSM beat Virtus Pro, which they didn't do at Copenhagen, but I still think Dignitas have a better shot at beating TSM today than what they did last week. So yeah, this is their moment to kind of snag one off TSM, because I think with two full lineups, TSM would be the very clear-cut favorite. Now I'm kind of I'm actually questioning whether or not I should go with Dignitas as TSM, which feels weird to say.
This feels like maybe the first time I've had you guys on the desk without a clear-cut idea in your mind of who you think is going to take this. So this is a good feeling, I feel. Let's run with that, and let's talk a little bit more about the individuals of Dignitas. They're on the screen just there. Every single person I talk to about Dignitas, because it's always a team I have a lot of interest in, I always ask about individuals. I always say, who is it the player to watch? And I've got a different answer from so many different people. I mean, you run down the roster. I think AZ was someone that Lauren was particularly a fan of. She was saying that he's young, he's up and coming. And then as I said that to you, Halvor, you pointed out another individual.
Kjaby. Kjaby's 16 years old and he's incredible at Counter-Strike. So I think he's going to be the new flagship Dane for years to come if he continues to play, because especially during Copenhagen, he just played lights out for most of the tournament, and he's been doing that for quite some time. And the more he plays with these guys who've already have years and years of tournament experience, he's going to pick up those small things, game by game, and he's only going to get better. So that's a scary thing to face for other teams, because I don't think you've seen how good Kjaby can actually be, and that's a really promising thing if you're Dignitas. And yeah, Kjaby's definitely my one-to-watch guy.
What about you?
I think you also have to take into account, like, you can basically talk about every single player in this lineup and there's an interesting story, right? Like Nico, one of the best early on oppers in CSGO. Like, he dominated with the op when he was back in Western Wolves.
Yeah.
And with Pimp in the lineup, they had Clave, MSL. And
I think it was Nilla who was the last one.
Nilla, yeah. And he was their solid star player.
Right.
And Pimp was kind of the excuse me, I got it from you again.
I'm so sorry.
But But it's like, will he reach that level of opening again?
Right.
Like, we haven't really seen that since Dignitas came back.
And one of the cool things is HLTV did an interview with Nico today, actually, after the game versus Na'Vi, and he was saying that he actually quite likes how the ult works in this update. So if that's any sign, again, great thing for Dignitas. They actually have so much to play off of, because I think it's fair to say that when Nico came back to competitive CS, we were expecting to see Western Wolves Nico.
Yeah.
Probably the second best player in the world at times when he was playing in that team. And everybody wanted to see that instantly. Same thing when RPK came back to Titan as well. But these things take time. Even though CS is kind of like riding a bike, you're a bit wobbly at the beginning. So if Nico is actually feeling really comfortable with the AWP now, then, who's to say where the ceiling, the roof is on
You can do major damage with that.
Yeah.
It's map time, though, and let's have a little overview of where we see this one going. Let's not forget, these guys know what the teams favor. They know how the individuals operate, and so this is going to be a very important veto for both of these sides. And starting with you, Jonathan, anything you expected to see taken away other than Overpass, which is already taken out?
I actually
Not too
don't
sure?
really know. Well, seems like they both teams want to play the ordinary maps. They want to play more of a, I would say, individually based maps where you can get a lot of duels. I mean, Nuke is probably the map there where it's more about team play than the other maps. Like, you have to have perfect rotations, and your T side has to be like strategically perfect for it to actually work. And we see Inferno and Cash
Mirage, yeah.
being picked up, and Mirage being the...
Inferno, Cash, Mirage as our three, starting, of course, on Inferno, a map that we not so long ago was highlighting as Dignitas had an incredible T side. Even against Na'Vi earlier on today, they were playing it on Inferno. I think it was 69 or something that one ended out. And Dignitas just, they seem to have such a strong T side. And then I'm intrigued why, how can a side who can have such a surprisingly strong T side then go and have a poor CT? How does that translate, and how is that like possible?
I think it's very, very common. It's a thing when I was playing back in Fnatic, and we would have like really, really solid sides. Like, we could get 12 rounds in T on Inferno, and then we get to the CT side, and everyone plays so defensively because you get into this mindset, we're playing not to lose, right?
Right.
We already won the game, so we have everything to lose in this half, basically. So you play super defensively, you don't go for the information plays, you're kind of leaving yourself in the blind because you're afraid of making mistakes. So you kind of have to remind yourself of having the mindset of, let's play to win. Right. Like, let's take those duels, let's play our game, and be confident with it.
I think actually the only team that can actually successfully plays passively on a consistent level is TSM. And Dignitas, not quite there yet with their CT side. So yeah, it's definitely the coming into a game and playing scared is the worst thing you could do. You're never giving yourself a real chance to win at that point. So Dignitas, hopefully that win over Na'Vi is going to set them straight, and they're going to be like, well, we can do this on both sides. So it doesn't matter what side we start on. It doesn't matter how first half goes. We can always bring it back and win it from that point. And if they're able to do that, I see them actually it could be very likely that they pick up Inferno.
Let's see then who will be crowned the Great Dane. It's time now for map one, and it's time to introduce your casters, which this time is going to be Pansy and D-Man.
No witty lines this time from Alex.
No, but he got both names in the similar way. So he said, D-Man and Pansy rather than Lee and Pansy. So he's improving every single time.
He's getting there.
He is the man who can now.
He's an up-and-coming caster from what I've heard. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ESL Pro League. If you just joined us, you've missed two fantastic games. Well, I say two. Technically, there's been four, because obviously the second stream was also covering two games, which is where one of these teams came from first up. Dignitas taking down Na'Vi was, for me, a pretty big result at the start of the day.
Yeah, I was mostly at the analysis desk once all the game started rolling, and they were sat just in front of them, so you can kind of hear the vibe going down. And to be fair, Dignitas were rowdy as hell. Those guys were pretty damn loud from the very offset. So getting pumped up, and Na'Vi just never seemed to get into that game all that strong. So, I don't know what we can expect here, because in theory, Dig, I didn't have them coming down this far. I genuinely didn't think they would make it to this point, in at least in this form. They could have easily gone through the lower route, but I did not see them getting into this game just yet.
And then, of course, TSM, well, we saw what they did this morning. It took 5 hours to get there, but they got there in the end. They managed to take down Virtus Pro very impressively, which, you know, everybody had it down as a 2-0 for Virtus Pro, but it wasn't to be. TSM came out on top using Cadian, who actually was close to top fragging on the second map on Cash. So he really put up a brilliant performance, and more importantly, their brilliant performance on Mirage. Now, that's a map that's just come out. It is going to be the third map,
yeah, if
I believe,
necessary.
if they fall back to it. So already TSM know if they have to go to the third map, they have a good map to fall back on.
Yeah, and Inferno and Cash aren't exactly bad for them either. And I think it was Maniac I was discussing with, I may be wrong, I'm pretty sure it was. It was just the fact that now with Cadian on board, they don't need to be maybe as worried. You know, there's that excuse. They can be like, well, you know, we didn't. Yeah. They don't have that pressure. It's like, well, we had a stand-in. You know, everything that can be brought up, they can just say, yeah, we had a stand-in.
And we heard from Dupree, he was talking about in the interview, talking about how they didn't have him, how Device. They had to adjust because ordinarily Device would go in and do a flash, and Cadian wasn't doing the flash, and suddenly they're like, oh Christ, someone always doing that flash. But they talked about how they've had to adjust to it, and it's actually kind of worked in their favor because they're playing a little bit more loose.
Yeah, it's a possibility that it's actually paying off well for them, but then again, it will hit a wall. There's no disputing the fact that picking up a person like literally 10 hours before an event is going to actually work out for you in the long run. Like, there's no saying that that's actually going to work. But for a team that certainly does very publicly occasionally feel pressure and has their moments of kind of having that behind them and maybe making a couple of slips up here and there, adding in someone like Cadian, excuse me, isn't a bad thing in a way mentally for them currently. It's just how far can they ride that train? You know, the honeymoon period will fade away eventually. It's just, you know, at what point?
Well, Inferno, of course, is the first map. TSM used to be famed for having such an amazing defense, and Inferno was definitely one of those maps where it pulled off on. We'll see how it works out. It is a best of 3. You can see them there. The Danes, Dignitas versus TSM. It's a match that's become synonymous throughout many in esport these days. But right now, it is CSGO, and we are underway. It's going to be a knife round to begin with. Absolutely, CT side is what both these teams are going to want.
Yeah, even with Dignitas having such a strong T side, I can imagine they are definitely aiming for CT here. So a little bit of a tentative knife round all across the board. No one will want to make a mistake, and Dig just holding the line and then making the charge. Going to try and make what they can of it, and they do pick up a kill or 2 off the back of that.
That's a pretty solid strategy they had there, but it's just sadly backfired from.
Yeah, Dupree just arrived, apparently, picking up 3 so far.
Unless Nico does manage to come out. Ooh. Well, Cadian won them the knife against VP before. Let's see if he can do it again. He did manage to get 3 in that one. You know what, Nico? He was fairly confident. I just spoke to him in the other studio, just setting himself up, and he's like, you know what? I'm actually pretty confident coming into this one, which is a big thing, I feel, for Dignitas, because obviously they're coming up against the Danish compatriots. These guys know each other very well. And would you believe it? Nico's actually pulled it off for them, so expect to see them swapping, yeah. So it's going to be Dignitas starting out on the CT side. Good pick for them, and maybe it's just a little confidence boost they need to get into this one, because as was just pointed out, they did play each other twice at the Copenhagen Games, and they did lose twice.
Yeah, different event, I guess, almost a different team against them to a degree with one stand-in. So maybe they can find a little bit of a difference there and maybe turn something around. And bearing in mind that, you know, the team Dignitas released a good couple of players from that lineup, and no strangers to the studio. Back in, God knows how long ago it was, in the EMS days, they were certainly mainstays in this before, you know, everyone kind of split apart and went their own ways. They have been here before. They played on these stages not too long ago. They're certainly accustomed to their surroundings. So it'd be great to see them doing well again. I just want to see what they can bring on a start-out CT side. You know, everyone going on about the T side that they showed up with. I want to see how well they can now start out and actually build that lead from the other side of things.
Yeah, whereas TSM have definitely improved and stepped up their T side themselves since Carrigan joined the fray. It's something they worked on when he joined back in February, when then Dignitas switched across the TSM. It's pretty confusing when the organizations definitely do that, and when, of course, the new team meets each other. But Dignitas, they've got a couple of superstars of their own, as was pointed out. Kirby, the 16-year-old up-and-comer, is definitely setting the world alight a little bit for the Danish scene.
Well, it's always great to see these players as well in such a perfect atmosphere that they can actually really display what they're made of and under real pressure. So I want to see how well he performs in this. I don't think there's any question that he can. It's just whether or not we see it in this game. I think we are just getting that last player back in for TSM. We are almost ready to start out the pistol now. So as said before, I do believe it'll be Team Dignitas starting out on the CT side here, and TSM will be on the T side, kicking off in Inferno pretty darn soon.
Yep, good luck, have fun, exchange, and we are live. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the ESL Pro League, and this is the winner brackets to see who will get through to the semi-finals tomorrow. More importantly, we'll see who they face later on after this one, as Titan Envy will follow this matchup. But it is a best of 3. A lot of action to happen between the Danes right now.
Such phenomenal games coming up, and it's always great when you get these kind of showdowns of the same regions and teams know each other so well, almost inside out to a degree at times. And time again, they'll tell you, I think it was Kenny S. who was saying that when it comes down to these, actually no, excuse me, MBK was saying that when it comes down to these kind of regional matchups, it becomes a 50-50. Everyone knows each other so well, it can go either way. However, on paper, you'd certainly give him towards the TSM side and towards this one. But already, let's have a look at what we're seeing into this round. We do have the Tech 9 board up for Cajun in this, so let's see where Cajun's going to take that one. Cajun B just eyeing up the B-bomb site. AZ and MSL will be there. Pimp being a little forced back in the CT arch, and actually Zipnix and Dupree going to break through. And they could actually sandwich in this B site damn well here, and I'm not sure how aware Pimp is of this. And well, AZ's certainly going to find out very soon. Stunner of a shot to kick things off as Zipnix goes down.
The rest of the team do come through. They're going to get it flashed out quickly, but AZ is not able to land the shot, which means he's all alone now on the B site. You can see Dupree, they all know he's on new box. They will take him down. And now the retake is on for Dignitas. Smoked off CT side. Kirby makes his way up Banana. Kerrigan just waiting. 2 of them and Banana waiting for him. He's going to get tagged up heavily. He's not able to take them down. It's down to Nico and Pimp to see if they can get on the site. As Nico comes around, he will find one. Won't manage to land the shot though. And it was simple cleanup for TSM in the end. Everybody getting away with pretty low hit points, but they all survive in the end. And first round solidly taken by TSM.
That was a brilliant split through that CT arch there, pushing 2 of those players through. Pimp kind of being left unawares almost to a degree and unable to do much about it by that point. And they just kind of sandwiched in.
It's 3 MP9s and Carrigan, Zipnix and Cadian. You're going to see what they can do with it. Of course, Cajun B had that Tech 9 from the first round, but Dupree favouring the see if it's going to work out for him.
The UMP is becoming a bit of a common stay almost. I guess it's because I got to watch 3D Max just a second ago. But nice flashes coming out from Dig, slowing down the play towards mid there and allowing Pimp maybe to adjust just a touch as Nico will go fishing for a pick as Zipnix will find him. And it looks like they might be able to maintain something fairly clean here, but committing a hell of a lot. Pimp goes down and that should be A looking fairly open.
Kirby still lingering, but look at that. Zipnix checks the spot, not letting anything through. MSL actually going to push through the smoke, try and get back into quad behind them. Is anyone looking back? No, they're not. They do manage to get one down, but not the second. And that CZ spray not working out for him. AZ has managed to recover. Cajun B is Tech 9. Is he just going to simply hold it? Yes, he will. He's going to back out into the T-spawn.
Yeah, with that head armor as well, I don't think he'd want to commit too much here. He might be able to get one on the way up, but Dupree's actually peeking there. The UMP not exactly bad on that sort of range, still has the possibility of closing that one out. So all in all, TSM, once again, solid, just really, really solid, just following up nicely. They do lose out on 2, so obviously Cajun and Cadian there going out, but not the end of the world. They close out the round, get the bomb plant, and AZ gets to just about keep that Tech 9.
Yeah, just going to see and close the round out. We'll see if it works out. But as it stands, 2-0. Solid start for TSM. And Dignitas now. Are they going to go for a 3rd round, or are they going to save up? Let's see what they go. I can see that obviously the AZ with the Tech 9 that he managed to rescue. It is going to be a solid save, so see if they're going to stack a site out. It will be a B, 5-man stack from Dignitas. We'll see if this works out for them. See if TSM choose to go that direction. Carrigan and Cajun B are peeling off that way. And nobody peeking from Dignitas. This is going to be a full passive. Everybody hide. Everybody surprise them. Just the one standard position in and around the CT spawn.
I'm a little surprised they put a 5-man stack rather than the 4-1 we saw in the previous game, but if TSM fall for it, I'd also be very surprised. They're still not committing the bomb anywhere. It's still at the bottom mid, and Cajun B starting to have a little bit of a peek here, and if he does commit, he could get caught out very early on. Nico's in a good spot just to peek around the corner. And of course, the two players waiting at first and second box, they're Pimp and AZ. So Zipnik's starting to look. KGB does find MSL. It's a matter of time. I think they've caught on to the idea in here, and KGB's backing away. They've certainly found out, as likes of Zipnik's, Dupree, and Cadian have made their way up CT Arch.
Yeah, they've got full vision of A, and it's like, nobody's here, guys. Where are they all? They're all going to be stacking out. And they are going to get KGB down, which means they've managed to rescue that MP9 away from him. Now they're going to be 3 men piling down the mid. Let's see if they can go for a retake here as TSM get that bomb plant down over on the A site. And they're going to make their way through there. It is going to be Pim that heads his way first in there with the P250. The rest of the team coming up second mid in support. And looks like they're just going to try and maybe go for the exits. I don't think they're going to try and go for the retake here. Going to see if they can get every gun away from TSM.
It might catch Carrigan, but I don't see anything beyond that. It's going to be Nico, actually, to go down to him. So even with just that USPS, he's been able to do so much work. Cadian finds Pimp, and now, well, AZ was a mile away from the start. He's been hiding out at B the whole time, and Carrigan's still lurking away. And, well, Cadian found one of the last members. AZ gets to stay alive again. It's 2 rounds in a row. He's been able to maintain that head armor and the Tech 9. He'll be able to get on to a little bit of a bye here with the rest of his team. And finally, we'll get to see what Team Dignitas might be able to bring now on the CT side on their first big buy-up.
Yeah, so let's see where they go with this one. 2 FAMASs picked up by Pimp and MSL. They haven't really got too much in those opening 3 rounds. Just the 4 franks across the entire Dignitas team for the first 3. There goes the grenades. And it is going to be a much slower approach, as you would expect from TSM, knowing full well they're going up against M4s. TSM themselves, and 4 AKs down, trying to rattle something through the smoke, but nothing really open to them. AZ, you can see through the X-ray, just lingering around the corner of Banana, but it's the apartment push that actually TSM have gone through. They've got 2 members in there, but they're choosing to back away, and it looks like it's going to be a B play.
Well, they've got the early control, but they don't have the full control of Banana. I was surprised they'd even consider it yet. With a fair bit of time, they've worked another smoke away from the CT side, but you can still see that MSL's got his. There's 2 flashes on AZ, a couple flashes on Pimp, still 1 on Nico. They can still do a little bit of work here. However, after this, it's going to be just going in as it is, and the CT side just going to try and weather the storm. Still got a molly as well on MSL, so he can even slow them down further on B. With 40 seconds left, smoke goes down again. They might have to just flash themselves through here and actually go for it. Zipnik's going to start lurking over towards A, but Cajun and Carrigan are the players to spearhead over at B. Whether or not they find anything is the big question. And here we go. They are going to flash themselves through here. MSL is ready and waiting. Spots out 1, but it's AZ coming up big, taking down Cajun and Carrigan. And it's looking like it's going to be a Team Dignitas round here as the rest of the T-side are being slaughtered as they push in.
Solid defensive work. They were ready and waiting for that one. Nico's already rotated as well, so they've got full cover on this one. Just the last. Zipnik's recovered the bomb and going to try and run away, but he's going straight into Kiebu. And he will take him down, Kiebu, quite easily. Good, solid defensive work from Dignitas. You know, they stacked up the smokes and TSM were just delayed for so long. And like you said, you questioned the rotate. It came so quick that they decided, okay, B site is where we're going, despite the fact we've got 2 guys in apartments already.
It's just working down the smokes, I guess, and where they felt most comfortable, whatever they read into it. But the work between MSL and AZ was brilliant. I think they got 2 each into that round, and it was just wonderfully done, buying the time. The early smoke comes out. I believe that's from K. I think it is from KAB. I'm not sure. Towards Banana, but regardless of that, the T-side are starting to head up towards mid, starting to speed up a little, maybe looking to just try and catch him out before all those smokes get put into play. And Dupree finding Nico will open up CT Arch, forcing Pimp to adjust and leave just 1 man, locking down that quad push.
Well, Pimp's going to flash himself out. He will find 1, but no, Dupree gets him just before the smoke goes down. Zipnik's now also going to make the push in towards Pit. Kirby is there, AZ on the rotate, coming through Library. He's got 2 to the right of him, but he's going to get smoked out, flashed out. Cajun B spins, gets him through Library. Here's the footsteps. Kirby has managed to keep himself silent in the back corner. Will get 1 down, but now they know that he's in the smoke. He's going to try and pop flash himself out of there. Will manage to get down and get Zipnik's down. The grenade will find its target, but not before Cadian pushes through. And it was a clean take once again for TSM. 4-1 now the score. Starting to get themselves a good lead on T-side.
Yeah, and Cadian even had so much to work with still in that round. I think he still had a molly and a couple of flashes that he could have put into practice. But I like that. They sped up a little. They didn't allow so much control, it seems, for Team Dignitas that time. And look at the state of Team Dignitas' buy here. You've got still just a USPS, a couple of P250s, a CZ on literally one of the plays. They have nothing to work with. We've seen the power of what the CZ can do, but that, I believe, was a complete force-up before. In the game with Titan there, if you can throw your minds back to that not too long ago. This should be a clean one for TSM, but already KGB taking a little bit of damage, and AZ left to deal with a hell of a lot here as Cadian will deal with him, and that's B completely open.
Yeah, Kirby is going to find Carrigan.
That's the bomb as well.
Oh, no, he needed to land that frag. Had to get it, didn't get a tag down on him too heavily. Carrigan now just on 32 health, pushing through. Like you said, that was the bomb carrier, but look at this. Look at the speed of TSM, the fast rotate. It's a race, a foot race straight in there. Nico is going to get here, but he's going to go headlong into Cajun B. He's already in position. The smoke now going down will block them off from CT. They're going to rotate all the way through construction. Nico already there, gets himself onto spools, gets one, won't get the second, has to back away. The rest of Dignitas stacking up behind him, but they are all smoked off.
Yeah, bomb plant down at Barbecue. They know that they've got the control of that to a degree as Dupree takes down Nico, leaving just 2 in this to try and get back into the side, but Dupree denies at the edge of that smoke as Pimp, last man in this, maybe looking to pick up an AK, take one away, but he's limited to so few options here, kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place as the rest of TSM start peeling off the site, and I don't think he's got the time for this, nor the damage. Dupree, well, Pimp did get one towards Cajun B, but Dupree was there, and TSM really starting to stretch their legs on the T side, and that's quite dangerous.
Yeah, starting to stack up some serious money as well, which is a bit of a problem for them. So 5-1 now. TSM already going to be happy with their T side. Let's see if they can extend it any more. Dignitas really need to invest, and they have got themselves the AWP. We'll see what Nico can do with this one. He's going to get a peek straight down mid, see if he can get any of the openers like Kenny was.
Glass cannon as well.
He doesn't look... Oh, it was a close, and he does get Cadian down. That's what they needed. That's the opener. And say glass cannon or not, if you can get that opening frag, it's already paid for itself.
Yeah, pretty dangerous. But Team Dignitas may be feeling confident now they can get a bit of a better buy, I guess you could call it. But still, 1 minute left. They've got 3 smokes left. They can still buy so much time. Last time it forced TSM to play through it, use those flashes on towards B, but this time they're lining up towards A, maybe looking for that execute. Not finding anyone peeking now as the vast majority of Dignitas starting to sit a little bit further back. You got Pimp sitting back a little more, Nico holding that peak, but Cajun B finding MSL, might find a weakness in towards B, but it looks like TSM doesn't care. They want to go straight towards Archer. Nico going to go back out. He gets the flash towards one. Lovely shot towards Zitlik. Follows up well towards Dupree. And now just 2 left in this for TSM, and they've got a real struggle on their hands.
Well, that glass cannon gets himself the triple now, so absolutely. The gamble worked, the double flash, perfectly done. But Carrigan, this is risky business because he's having to step on through, try and use the smoke to shield his way in there, waiting for the support. Cajun B's the man that's going to get around the side, but he manages to spot out Kiebu, already seeing him. They're going to be taking their eye off Carrigan. Carrigan does manage to hop up on truck and get 1 down, but there's a second in the pit, and that was Pimp, and I don't think they counted on him being there. The molly will work out from Cajun B. It's going to flush him out to the right, but it just gives Pimp the chance to go out and get himself his double. And now Dignitas, an all-important second round for them there. Nico, like you said, glass cannon, paid off, got himself the triple. Now the head armor's back on. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and I'm so impressed, considering this is a guy who just said, I kind of like the AWP now, you can kind of see why. The quote is certainly staying true to form. He's going to switch up this time, going to head up over towards B, so MSL going to sit towards CT Arch, and you can see him going straight in. He's feeling confident, looks like he wants to go for the opener, not going to find it that time, going to back out and just hold the angle. So already maybe looking for that counter pick. Cadian being a little cautious there and trying to set Cajun B up for the peak. So this could be the AWP v AWP battle that a lot of people wait on, and Cajun B comes out good, holding the angle, and Nico goes down.
It's the danger of the slow creep in with the new AWP. Get yourself into that car. This is a risky play from AZ, considering he knows that Cajun B is going to be focused completely on there. Does manage to get that AWP rescued away, though, with that smoke. And that will be now in the hands of AZ, but he is all alone currently on that B site. Looks like Kirby is going to be the man that rotates, but that's buying time for TSM to see if they can prod and pray their way in there.
I think they saw AZ picking up the AWP as well. I'm pretty sure Cajun B saw the Famous being switched over. Not too sure. I'm pretty certain, though. And MSL, as you said, did get himself over there. So it's a 2-2 split. Pimp and Cajun B just sticking around A. And look, he's going hunting in towards apps. So they're working out that they're not actually at A. They're going to know what's up already. So AZ is going to be holding this angle like a champ. Does get flashed a touch. Going to have to peek back out. He spots at least 2 working their way forward. He gets the double. AZ denies at the door, but Cadian breaks through. And now MSL has to try and pick up the pieces of the B side. bomb will surely be going down, and Dupree sneaking himself through to a beautiful angle. He can just hold and wait, see if Pimp pushes through, but now in a 1v3, he's going to have to hold the nerve perfectly, as surely the bomb will be defused soon enough. Dupree gives away the game, but now 1v2, can he pull it off? Does get the tag, gets the frag to follow. Now 1v1, he's sticking the defuse, and MSL right under his nose, just absolutely balls the steel in that situation.
Managed to stick it. There's the double. Replay from AZ. And that was so important. Dignitas getting themselves the third round. It was a fully invested. And TSM, they've got enough money to buy themselves back into it, but not completely. You can see it's going to be 2 Tech 9s for them this time around. Xyp9x and Cadian and that Galil. So TSM forcing themselves into this one. We'll see where it goes for them, especially considering they had the opening AWP frag. It was around. Maybe they're going to feel they should have taken. But it can't play on their mind too heavily as Dignitas look to pick themselves up the 4th round. TSM just slowly approaching this one. Not a lot of smokes coming out from Dignitas. They're delaying this one nicely. There's going to be one. That's going to be TSM. They smoke off Arch. That means they're going to be rushing onto quad.
Well, they've slowed themselves down, though. They didn't commit. They forced them back.
It's a fake. Nice.
Ooh. But AZ knows. AZ's still watching on Banana. He knows that they've not pushed up just yet. Going to drop down a nice deep smoke, allow them to stack 4 there. And this slight hesitation, delay, whatever you want to call it, might have cost them, but Dupree finding Pimp certainly won't, and that could now be A looking a lot more vulnerable.
I think the counter smoke was enough that slowed them down. Carrigan getting tagged up, but he manages to find MSL through the smoke. Kirby in the pit, but he's getting caught out, forced into between a rock and a hard place. And that hard place was Xyp9x with the Tech 9. AZ now the last man, comes around, but he's running straight into smoke. He's going to be walking out onto Cadian, backs away, goes back through Boiler. Tries to delay, but he's in a 4-on-1 situation. I think he's just going to try and get some exits here. That's all he can really hope for. Unless he can sneak his way in. No kit either, so no chance of being anything but stealthy. He just has to hold on.
Certainly does. And look at Dupree's performance. And the CT side, money-wise, are in dire straits here. Whew. Dupree, 13-3 so far, and they've been important rounds. One does go, and more money for the T side. This is the thing. They're starting to build a good bit of bank here, TSM, and so they can start padding it out for them, giving them a little bit more flex here on that T side.
Yeah, well, I mean, they forced that round, remember, and it's paid off for them. It was just 2 Tech 9s. That's all they went in with, Galil and 2 AKs, and it's completely paid off. And now, of course, we see everybody completely bought up. But Dignitas, now they're in a little bit of problems. AZ, it's going to be a rush. It's the nade strat rush. Is it going to work out well for them? It doesn't look like it because TSM have delayed on this one. They should just be able to gun them down at the bottom of mid, but it is going to be TSM. They tried to get 1. They got 2 out of it. It's not a bad rush overall, but pretty sure there was a rifle in there, wasn't there? I think it was AZ that had the rifle. So
Not too sure. I didn't.
Risky.
Spot it. But regardless, they got 2 players down. They're starting to build themselves back into the, at least, money system there. Well, on 2.5, maxing out about 3 at the moment, I think. So they are still on a bit of an eco. They're still looking for something. They're probably going to do the stack again. This time, it's not the 5-man stack towards B. It's a 4-1 split. We're going to be seeing Nico, AZ, MSL, and Pimp starting to work their way down. You can see the stack. They're literally just so close to the verge. But TSM don't even have a player there at the moment.
3-man stack at Sandbags. Let's see if they can catch him by surprise. It kind of worked out for Apex and RPK.
I guess they're doing the pop flash and then allowing those 2 to push through if they hear anything.
Well, Cation B's there with the AWP. He's going to get 1 down. If they could try and rush him down, it's exactly what they're going to do. They do get the AWP out of his hands. The rest of the team were not there for the revenge either, so that's going to be the AWP in Nico's hand now. And that bomb making its way through apartments. MSL is going to be charging on through the smoke. Carrigan is ready and waiting, though, around the corner, so they decide to slow things down and see if they can get Nico into play with that AWP. I think they're just going to hold on to it, yeah.
Yeah, Pimp went for the long rotate. He almost had a chance to catch off Carrigan then, who was just focusing towards mid, but I think the footsteps may have given him away a little bit. But MSL does get himself a gun, as does Nico. So at least they get away with a little something. And already TSM starting to look around. Dupree is straight hunting them down. He does not want to lose these guns. He's heading down back towards spawn, but I'm not sure if he's going to get this one. Look at that. Nico is holding the corner, and he's going to get it on towards Dupree, but giving away the game. But time is against the T's, and I think they might want to save their guns at this point, as Cadian gonna have to move himself away from that site. Takes a little bit of damage, but not too much. And we'll be seeing 2 still standing for the CTs. Picking up that 1 kill at the end then for Nico was so important.
Well, nonetheless, it is a great start for TSM. 8-3 already on the T side. This is going very, very well for them on Inferno. And they already generally have a very good defensive side. We'll see, of course, whether it's going to get tested by Dignitas. That's the second half. We've got another 3 rounds remaining of this first half. We'll see if it works out. Nico, with that ult that he managed to rescue in the last round, is going to get smoked off, so not able to use it down mid in the opener. TSM a little cluttered at the bottom of mid there, and a bit of a change of direction. Looks like they're all going to rotate and go second mid, make their way in towards apartments.
Just taking the time, you don't really blame them. They're 8-3 up. They can take their time. They can test the waters, see where they fancy going. This is a great scoreline for them already. If they get any more rounds, it'll be a certain bonus. Considering it was Dignitas who had the T-sided round in the previous game they were talking about. It's nice to see someone else being able to do it as well. Show them that we can just do it as well as you. But dupreeh and Xyp9x going to start lurking their way through. Pimp maybe on the receiving end of those two if they do commit out here. And AZ just holding behind that smoke. dupreeh desperate to find a little bit of a pixel on towards the side so we can make the play. Another smoke goes down. AZ knowing they're not here gives a good amount of information towards Nico, Pimp, and Kyobi.
dupreeh making some footsteps, trying to force somebody to show themselves at the end of apartments there, but Kyobi's not falling for it. Meanwhile, we can see here at Banana, MSL holding the angle, expecting the banana rush, but look at AZ, perfect position by the Logs, gets out, gets one, gets two, doesn't get the third, but he's got the support of MSL. Oh, he didn't quite get the frag. 3 hit points for KGB. But that's enough information. They got one down, the rotate already coming. Nico will be in position before they push the site.
Yeah, but Nico with the AWP could get overwhelmed here, and that might just be the case. Gets tagged up, does get the one towards dupreeh, backs up. Oh, miss, just whiffs the second there, sadly. But MSL will at least clean up with the 2. And time was certainly against them at that point, but a dangerous rotate to come out. But they know they're good for money to a degree, the CT side. They've still got a little bit of bank left to play with. They do have the AWP still in play for Nico. They still have all the M4s there. And the T side, okay as well. They're starting to build a little bit more bank, but that play from AZ to push down and lock down the bottom banana was just brilliant. Using the smoke, using the control, and just forcing TSM to have to do something here.
Good aggression there. Nico not able to find the frag down mid. Backs away, pop flash out, and return. TSM will slow things down a little bit. They haven't made any big apartment plays. They haven't been able to push out. It's B site that they've been successful on. That's where they keep hitting right now, which is probably why Dignitas have started to be a little bit more aggressive down that banana. We do see dupreeh once again. Look at this, waiting around the corner, but Kyobi is not showing himself. Got the perfect angle. dupreeh puts his back to him, and Kyobi will find himself a second. Xyp9x was the follow-up, and a clean pickup there for Kyobi. Barely took any damage, and that's already 2 members down. But that's Nico going down on Arch, and KGB is pushing through onto site.
There's still 3 players here for the CT side. MSL had rotated earlier, and those 3 remaining are doing so much work between them. KGB now left in a world of trouble. MSL puts him out of it. Beautiful, beautiful work for MSL there. But all in all, it's just good reach from Dignitas that round. They had all the players in the right places as soon as TSM started to make the play. 2
triples running for MSL, I think, there the last 2 rounds. So certainly stepping up for Dignitas. 5-8. If they can pull this back to 7-8, they're going to be very happy, I think, because it was looking pretty dire at the start. As it is, we're going to see Nico once again try and land the shot. No, he's going to go straight in towards, peek on towards second mid. Will be able to find it, and dupreeh goes down. Grenade also going to find its target. Doesn't do too much. In fact, does nothing at all to them. Oh, Pimpin' Dark gives his position away there. Kyobi covering him off, though.
But I think they're trying to bait Xyp9x back in, but will they expect it now? Kerrigan's just joining, but stunning work from Pimp, just controlling himself well and avoiding that molly. Going to push a little forward. The rest of his team's doing the work, and he wants to join in on the closer. And it's just been really nice work from Dignitas. Once they got themselves back in the money, they got enough to support themselves thoroughly. The slightly slower play from TSM is just not seeming to break through. Dignitas are doing brilliant. Once they get in these positions, they're just doing so well. But the scoreline is still in favour to the T side, which is such a worrying fact.
Yeah, and it's never going to change this half, that's for sure. Final round of the half, though. Nico Pimp actually going to take himself the shot. Switch that AWP across to Pimp this time around. And he's going to be covering off those apartments, which have yet to really be tested. Kyobi's been holding fantastic position there. Kyobi, I should say. I keep getting his pronunciation wrong. It's one of those Danish names that I don't think I'll ever get my tongue around. But 6-8 the score currently. And TSM, well, they're up against a bit of a brick wall of Dignitas here. They've had some pretty solid defensive rounds the last few.
Yeah, Dig's starting to find a little bit more comfort. They still have a couple of smokes to play with. A couple of mollies to slow them down. So they're certainly waiting for TSM to make that play, and it might just be around now. You can see the flashes coming through, though. TSM being halted, Dupree getting taken low, and MSL is just laying away. The molly will force him out of this little cubby. I think Carrigan knows it, but doesn't see him through the smoke, and they had to make the play. 48 seconds now. The clock is running down. 4 players now present for Team Dignitas. They know this is the side they want. They've spotted the bomb, and Pimp goes hunting. He gets 2, gets the 3rd. Lockdown from Pimp from Quad, denying a step towards the side for TSM. Sadly, we're not close out, but Cajun B now in a 1v3. 30 seconds, bomb in hand. Not a chance in hell with Nico there. 7-8 as the closing score of the first half.
Good recovery for Dignitas in the final rounds there. Get themselves back in, and Pimp, brilliant triple kill. Switched across on the AWP as well, actually. I think because he had the proper spawn, I think that's probably why he went straight for it. But nonetheless, it is still TSM with the 8-7 lead. And now as they move into the pistol for the second half on the CT side, let's see how they handle the defensive rounds. Remember, TSM did come out picking up the pistol round at the start of the game. That's what got them the lead. And they really started off very well. However, let's see if Dignitas can do the same, as they're going to go straight up mid, it seems. But Cajun B already with that USP pops one head.
Just brilliant with that gun. We saw him on the other side as well, doing wonders on the pistol, so certainly showing his prowess with this. But the T side still have a lot of armor. They've got a Tech 9 on Nico, and that can just overwhelm these sides if they actually go for the full play. But Smoke just going to fend them off a little, slow them down. Still 1 minute to work with. There's still so many options available. It looks like they may be lining up to flash Nico in. I'm not too sure. He's chilling out backwards. I don't know if they even have a flash to work with. They do. It's on AZ. So AZ flashing them through, but on the other end it's Zipnix, and Zipnix just waited it out. Carrigan waiting with that 5-7, surely going to follow up as well, as they're going to start piling in. Team Dignitas needs to commit here. 50 seconds on the board. Carrigan leaps forward, finds Pimp, and now just Nico alive, surrounded. I don't see him finding much here. No,
just trying to rattle off those Tech 9 shots. Did manage to find Cadian there. That was all they got. TSM pick up solid CT side pistol, and that's going to give them some more MP9s, MP7s as well in there. This could get nasty.
It certainly could. I'm a big fan of SMGs. What can I say? He doesn't love jumping around and doing absolutely silly stuff. I guess you got to counter the Tech 9 somehow. And at the moment, we're going to see that in practice, I can imagine. The Tech 9s for the Ts, a little bit of armor, a little bit of head armor, but that nade, oh my god, how much did that just take away? MSL, AZ, and KOB are all so low off the back of that, and Carrigan just weighing it out. Zipnix baiting himself in the corner, spots out the triple nade coming through. Doesn't do the damage, but Carrigan comes in, gets himself 2. And it looks like those Tech 9s are being put in their place.
Oh, there's the flashes, there's the smoke. He's just going to run out, gets himself 3! All too easy, and that will be TSM getting that round. The SMGs working wonders once again for them. It's something they've been working on, as has every team, honestly, in CSGO since that patch came around. But TSM definitely seem to have adapted it very quickly.
Yeah, showing that they are very proficient with it, and even sticking it in towards this round, knowing that the T side was struggling for money. They're going on the clean eco. They're just 1 P250 bought up for Pimp, and that is it. Everything else left aside. Those nades gonna really damn well hurt, and I can imagine this might be another bloodbath. The Carrigan might be the one making it. That is 2 already, and well, Nico decided to help him out by taking down Pimp.
Yeah, just sitting on the porch. And again, another clean round there for TSM. So 11-7. Now let's see what Dignitas can do. AKs, grenades, head armor, everything picked up. This is Carrigan just peeking out from the porch, and just a simple gun down, run and gun for them. 11-7 the score. Dignitas, after having a good comeback on the CT side.
I was about to say, they're still sticking with those MP9s and MP7s. They are that confident in them. Wow. I guess if you can push down and get early banana control like they're doing at this sort of crossfire range, it could work. Carrigan does get tagged up early, but still has a molly, has a smoke, has so much time to be gained. But look at the stack towards mid. It's going to be Katie who's going to be receiving and takes down Nico. So kind of doing the dirty work towards the opposition, who's just been AWPing him not too long ago. So far they're holding this well for TSM.
Keep up my eye on Carrigan. There's also Cajun B here in dark. Peeked up upstairs and then back straight away. It was Pimp actually that's about to come around, and again just tempting the shots, peeking around that corner but not checking dark. And that's why Cajun B is ready and waiting to strike. Now he's going to look here. Oh, he does manage to find him. get dinked in the head, but Pimp manages to get away with it. Cadian knows that he's actually being rotated on here. He is covering off this shot, but he's not going to be able to get the kill. And it's MSL that takes him down. Dupree is on site. He's got support coming from the CT spawn, so he just needs to hold them off a little bit longer.
It's going to be Carrigan being one of those support players coming through with the AWP. Bomb does go down, but the player tucked in towards the corner is going to close it with the double. And sadly for TSM, the SMG is not quite working out against a fully bought up T side.
Yeah, the AK is proving better in this battle, and I think anyone watching from the balance team will be very much grateful about that one. 11-8 the score for TSM. Nico now with the AWP in hand. I think he managed to steal it in that last round. Let me see whether he stole it or bought it. Now quickly. Ping. Oh, Semler, your buttons. You've reset your buttons. There we go. No, he didn't actually manage to purchase it, so we'll see how it works out for him. Trying to get the boost there, trying to get the peak. It's Carrigan that he's trying to look for, just hiding behind the car, but wasn't able to find that head. He's very much covered behind the board. Zipnik's so close, though, keeping that rifle tucked in. So when they push around the corner, there is 4 members. This could work out so well for them.
They're so good at these pop flashes, but Zipnik's just perfectly times himself around it and gets 2 as they push through. I don't know how the hell he didn't get flash from this, but just managed to move at the correct time, gets away scot-free, and that is 2 kills picked up for absolutely nothing.
So well played by TSM there. They actually knew he was there. They even went for it, but they just jumped around him, and he still manages to get out alive. 11-8 still. TSM looking to try and make it 12, as this banana play is still happening, despite the fact 2 members down. They know that TSM have a solid setup, and Zipnik's just holding the pixel perfect angle. But the pre-fire could hit him, and it does. Nico straight towards it, straight to Spools, and it's all on Carrigan in new box.
That's what they can do here. The smoke does come out. He's going to be able to single out Pimp, which is a bad idea to allow him to run free. But now 3v2, Team Dignitas have at least control of the site. CT's yet to get in towards Ruins as KD and KGB and Dupree starting to take that small control step by step as the last 2 remaining players for Dig try and hold on to this, and this could be a vital shot. Nico does not hit.
Yeah, he needed that one. Cadian's going to push through the smoke. He's flashed down Nico. Does manage to get it, and that's the shot he needed to land. But Kevin could try and line them up, but Cadian comes to the rescue. The defuse will come through, and TSM will get themselves that 12th round on the board.
Yeah, TSM really starting to build that momentum now. Well handled on the retake then, Zipnik. So this is the moment. The flash just came through as he turned away to move around the pillar. He knew what was coming, and finding those 2 just stopped that B play in its tracks, and they had to be so cautious working their way back up and then having to take the site. Even though Zipnik's maintained Soppy, was just too much of a tough task, it seems. And the T side now down to the likes of the Tech 9 there. You've got a Galil in play for MSL. It's not looking too pretty, and they just look like they're struggling to get any sort of control early on.
Cadian this time choosing to go towards B, expecting some sort of rush up there, and he will land the opening shot. That's all he needed. It was a 3-man stack there. Now his teammate comes in support. Carrigan's going to get a grenade landing straight at his feet. That's going to knock him down to 65, but AZ already tagged up with that Galil. He's going to try and poke up, but I think he's going to find himself bouncing straight towards Kiebi.
Yeah. Waiting out patiently, though. Zipnik's is the man just sitting back. And this is the benefit of how passive the TSM can be. They're holding these smokes. They still have everything to utilize. They still have these mollies, 2 of them left up on this. So that's going to buy more time. It makes it so difficult for Team Dignitas to make any sort of dent in towards that B side. Zipnik and Carrigan showing some wonderful prowess on it, especially with that early peek coming out from Katie in there, just to really help them out. And you can see Dig starting to have to look behind. They're starting to feel they have no control, but they have every single player here, and they're going to have to make a play, but they're reaching in slowly. They're not even going to flash out or smoke out. Now it's a little late, but they're a little further forward, but that flash coming through just caught off Nico. Carrigan finds one of them as they start pushing through. Zipnik's not giving away the game just yet. I think Nico knows roughly, but Carrigan peeks out at the perfect time, but down so low, can't find any more as Pimp's double just about claimed it. But Nico now left in a dire situation.
No, he didn't even get the bomb plant in there either. Cadian managed to cut him down, and through the fire in the flames got himself Pimp as well. So Cadian going for a triple in that round, working out well. And actually, you know, we talked about him so heavily at the start of the show. He's stepped up pretty damn well for TSM coming into this tournament.
Oh, he has. There's no questioning that. He's having a good tournament from start to finish, and he's getting to play sort of the premium players of the Danish scene there, so you'd expect him to be able to kind of assimilate well enough. But we're gonna have to see now. Dig going for that all-in play. Cadian will be waiting to receive it. He's going to be pressured though, and from the backside you can see Dupree helping him out, and that is just a complete mow-down coming out. TSM starting to look like they're going to get this one in the bag, and I just haven't seen anything from Team Dignitas here. They seem to get close now and then, but the control always looks like it's TSM's.
Yeah, this is pretty much closing out Inferno right there. Of course, that was simple eco. Well, it wasn't over in there. Trying to rush up there, but it's not going to work out for Pimp, unfortunately. 14-8 now. That smoke going to be an aggressive one once again. Let's see if they can get down. They've been down and dirty, deep in Banana a couple of times, and it's Carrigan once again, and look at him with that SMG in position. This is something that's worked out well for him twice already, although granted he used the M4 previously. Cadian just
that timing of the molly
perfectly there with a molly. Dupree with a molly of his own will also get them. That was the first one that went down. Cadian got the second down, and that's just completely stopped them in their tracks at the top of mid.
And the amount of money TSM has built up, they don't even have to worry about this. Carrigan going back in for the SMG is just unbelievable, considering Carrigan is on 5.3k currently, so he could have certainly afforded to go for a standard gun. But KGB going to be questioned down by Pit, does pick up the shot towards MSL. Pimp, however, still breaking through. Seems to be the only one making a dent for the T side.
And of course, with that Carrigan going so deep, they could afford the full rotate. Now they need the full rotate. Xyp9x is there, but this is a 3-on-2 advantage for Dignitas. Around they could do it picking up. Carrigan's managed to completely rotate around the back, gets through quad, does get Nico down, but AZ cuts him short in his tracks. Xyp9x, they're both stacked, both behind truck. This is actually good for Xyp9x if he can land one of the shots. They're both in the exact same position. So that flash will work wonders. Pimp not flashed out, but will get taken down. And now it's between Xyp9x and AZ. Boosts himself on truck, tries to draw out the fire. AZ comes out on top. And it's a Dignitas round, and by God, did they need it.
That one little bit of work coming out from Pimp was so important then, just to give him that foot towards the side, because it seemed like the never-ending story of TSM in that game till this point. Finally getting around here, but it did take its sweet, sweet time. All in all, though, 9-14. TSM have money to just spend throughout this. T-side still going to have 2 Galils in there, maybe not the full setup they want. And this time Carrigan not going to go for the SMG, going straight in on this one. Flash comes through, but Carrigan not fully flashed, gets the leap out, get down one. Xyp9x, though, still in control, can slow down the T-side and deny the easy push through.
And just to clip the wall, not sure he wanted to, but it will slow them down. The rotate coming out. He's going to have Dupree in support. Nico, the sole survivor on the Banana, while everybody else has rotated. KGB is holding Pit, so that's covered off. Cadian also at Arch. Playing it deep on Arch, passing back, knows he's going to be smoked off, so KGB is going to be giving all the information the moment they come around the corner. MSL though with the bomb. He's playing this one differently. It's going to be Arch that they push for. They're going to get themselves flashed out. Cadian not looking. Now he is. Now he's scoped, sees one, doesn't manage to land the shot, but the information was gathered. Dupree was in position at Speedway, does get one down, gets the second down. Can he make it a third? It's well, brilliantly done. And now, well, Nico was the sole survivor over at Banana, has managed to work his way through. Let's see if he can get around the back of Dupree. Dupree holding the angle, not going to expect him at the well. It's not his standard position, that's for sure. And more importantly, a 4K for Dupree. Good covering there. And more, really, all about Cadian giving the information, and he was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, Dupree started to almost rotate back towards air, which was correct, but then didn't push too far. He had faith in Cadian to at least be able to watch the cross, if not hit the shots, and he did just that. So, nice combination all around, but you've got to look at the T side now. They have 0 money to work with. You can see left with a couple of hundred here or there, and just forcing up into this final possible round of the first map. They're going to try and just brute force their way through. Xyp9x has dealt with this so well until this point, and Carrigan as well, but can they deal with the absolute onslaught of those Tech-9s coming through, the P250s to follow? Nade spam comes out, and you can see Dig trying to just force their way forward, but every single step they take is been met with absolute force, and Nico now, last man alive, he's picked up 2, he's got himself a gun, but they know where the bomb is, and he's surrounded on all fronts.
Yeah, he's got to try and creep his way in there as the grenade just trickles to his feet. They know where Nico is. TSM looking to close out map 1 in this best of 3. He's going to try and creep on through that smoke, but, well, it's just laid down once again. That was the problem. They've gone so fast on this one. TSM have got just about everything left at their disposal to keep Nico away from this bomb site for a lot longer. 45 seconds ticking on the clock. KGB just waiting for it. Nico to make the wrong move. Carrigan's going to see him. That's going to be the round, and that is going to be the map picked up for TSM as they take the first one in this series against their Danish compatriots, Team Dignitas.
As soon as it seemed that TSM got themselves on that CT side, you just saw them building back-to-back-to-back rounds. It was so impressive, and there was just nothing that we saw coming out from the opposition. They just seemed a little quiet on that. Everyone had a solid performance there from TSM.
Yeah, well played by TSM. Expected to take the first round. Clearly the favourites coming into this one. We'll see whether they can take it 2-0 or not, of course. Coming up after this will be Envy versus Titan, but right now, TSM already in the lead against Dignitas, and honestly, they look pretty solid. You know, they started off well on the T side, and more importantly, they gathered momentum. They were up to 8-3, I think it was what they reached the peak before they managed to suddenly start losing all those CT rounds, but that's where the damage was done.
And bearing in mind that Dig actually chose that map as well. That was their choice to come into this, and now we're left with kind of the two in favour to TSM. So I don't know where that's really leaving us in this one in the favour of Dignitas. If they're struggling on the map that they performed so well on earlier, how are they going to fare on a map that TSM feels really comfortable on? Yeah,
they did very well against Virtus Pro and Cash as well earlier on. So we're going to go to a break, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ESL Pro League. We are in the winners match. It is Dignitas versus TSM. Currently 1-0, it's TSM. We're back with the second map in just a few.